Hey guys, I just wanted to take a second. I We've had a really crappy couple weeks. Um, I've been wanting to make this vlog for a while now, but I figured that there's no better time than now, especially with the stuff that just happened. Um, so here it goes. A couple weeks ago, my grandpa, the one who I got my name from, he passed away. He was having breakfast and had a seizure. Did not Had a do not resuscitate, so they didn't do anything, and he passed away. I mean, it's not something that we were surprised about. It's a while ago. We got a call, and it was, Papa's not doing so hot, so prepare for the worst, say your goodbyes. And so I kind of said my goodbyes then, but then he got better and he started doing good. So I was like, okay, maybe that was just a false alarm. And then I got a call one morning and it was Papa's passed away. So it sucks when you love somebody so much and they've done so much for you. It's weird because, like, I don't know how to feel. On one hand, I want to be really sad and I just want to yell and I want to cry. And on the other hand, I'm happy. I'm happy that I got to spend so much time with him as a kid and I got to see some of the best things that I've ever experienced as a kid, and I got to experience those things with him. I got to go down to Florida every year with my family, and my my grandpa was, the best way of putting it is, my grandpa was insane. He was a good guy. Don't get me wrong. He was a really good guy, and I don't mean insane in a bad way, but he was just one of those guys. He was loud. He was very loud. He was deaf. Not completely, but the way that he talked, you would assume that he was deaf and he thought everybody else around him was deaf. So when he talked to you, he would yell and he would talk loud and he would give you just big hugs, big bear hugs. And if you didn't like something, he always said to eat it. It would make you more of a man. It put hair on your chest. It would make your chest hair curly. And it's funny because it's just things that you wouldn't think that you would remember about somebody, like young, and your grandpa just saying that stuff will put hair on your chest. You wouldn't think that that's something that you would remember. But some of the best memories I have was going down to Florida as a kid with my mom and dad and my two sisters, and we'd get down there and we'd always pull up to the house, and it was Florida, so it was always warm, and they had we'd always go around Easter, and so they'd have like a fence, not like a fence, but like a screened in garage, I guess. Yeah, it's just a screen on the front of the garage. I guess they're really popular in Florida because they help keep the bugs out, and you can sit outside in your garage. I don't know. But we would go down there and he would always walk out, him and my grandma BK would always walk outside as soon as we got there, and he'd give us a big hug and ask us how we were, and we would sit outside and we would play. And we me and my sisters were little hellions, so we would go down there around Easter, and we would on the night before Easter, obviously, like, your parents would wait for you to go to bed and they would hide the Easter eggs and hide the Easter baskets, and you would have to try to find them the next morning. So me and my sisters would pretend to be asleep up until they would, and I'm sure they knew that we were doing this, but we thought we were so sneaky. And we'd wait for them to go to bed, and then we would sneak out of the room and we would try to find as many as we could and try to see the Easter baskets. I think towards the end they waited until the morning to hide the Easter baskets, but we would always, like, wake up early or stay awake and try to find out where the Easter eggs were. And then we'd come out, they'd be like, okay, you guys can come. We'd have to wait for them to come get us from the room. We weren't allowed to go out because, they didn't want us to find them early, which we had already did. And so they would come and get us from the room, and we would go out there and we would try to find them. And it was fun. It was always a good time. We would open up the Easter baskets and my grandma BK, she worked at a Disney store for the longest time, so she would always have like Disney stuff in there. As kids, we were just loaded up with Disney stuff. It was great. I remember one time I ran into, was it me or was it my sister? I can't remember. Somebody was running through because to their house, it would be like you would be in the living room and the kitchen, and those would be like right next to each other. And then you'd have a glass door, like a glass sliding door, and you would go out there, and that's where they had the hot tub, and it was screened in, and you go in the backyard, and that was my grandpa's shed, and he would have all his tools and stuff out there. But we were running through and we were playing, and the door was shut. So somebody ran, I forget who it was, somebody ran face first directly into the glass wall and just ate shit. It was hilarious. But these are just things that it's like you don't really appreciate them. I mean, you appreciate them when you're younger, but you don't really appreciate your grandma and grandpa when you're young. You just don't. You don't appreciate them like you should because it's grandma and grandpa. They're always there. They're never going anywhere because when you're a kid, death just isn't a thing. For some people it is. They have to deal with it early, but for me it wasn't. Like my grandparents lived for a long time. I never had deaths in the family, and except for when I was really young and I don't really remember them, or when I was older. So it's just things that you don't really think of and you don't appreciate until you get older and they're no longer you're not going down there as much, you're not seeing them as much, and you don't have those experiences as much anymore, especially when they live out of state like that. It really really sucks, and I'm really gonna miss them. But we got a call this morning from Kristen's parents. Kristen got a call early in the morning, and when I heard her tone of voice, I knew what had happened. But she rolled over and she told me that her grandpa had passed away. And I had only met her grandpa twice. I met him once at his house, and then I saw him again when he was in the hospital. And I can tell you that this was a good man. He was a good, strong, smart man. He was 92 years old, and when he passed away, and he was still living on his own independently. No nurses checking up on him, nobody coming in to make sure that he was living on his own. He had his daughter and her kids living in there, but he was on his own. Like he was there to he fed himself, he took care of himself. He did everything on his own. And that's what I can only hope for. I hope that I live as long as he did with as much stability and as much. I mean, I can only hope to be like half the man he was. He raised three great kids. He was a grandfather to my girlfriend, and he was an amazing grandpa. Kristen's told me just countless stories about the things that he would do and the things that he's done, and it's too much to, obviously explain over one vlog, but from what she's told me, he was a really, really good guy. And it sucks when you lose somebody that was that good of a person and that influential, and you always feel bad because his wife is now she's living like she's by herself, and it never is a perfect world where both grandma and grandpa pass at the same time. And to be honest, I don't even know if that would be a better thing. I wouldn't want to stand losing two people at once. That would be just devastating. He did a really good job raising a great family. Kristen's family is one of the best group of people I've ever had the chance to meet. Since day one, they've welcomed me into their home. Her grandma and her aunts and uncles always ask about us and ask us how we're doing, and they invite us over to their place. I've been invited to so many family events by them, and I love it. I love every minute. It's not something where, oh my God, I have to go to St. Joe's to visit my girlfriend's aunt and uncle. Like, it's something that I genuinely look forward to. When we would go over there, me and Kristen used to go over. Now Kristen's living there, but we used to go over there every week for dinner, and I was so excited. I would look forward to it. Her dad is one of the coolest dudes ever. I've never had somebody, like, especially a girlfriend's father, that I've been able to just sit down and just talk with. Like today we were talking about German battleships, just sitting there, and he's just talking to me about how England, they were pissed because Germany sank one of their best submarines, so they came back and took out the pride and joy of the German army. And it was just, I'm just really, really lucky to have such a good group of people to call my family. I have my family, and then I have Kristen's family, which I consider family. Her mom is one of the sweetest, strongest, smartest people that I've ever met. She did such a good job raising Kristen that I wish I could thank her every single day for the woman that she raised. I don't even think that they really realize how much they've really helped our relationship by being so loving and so caring, and her aunt and uncle just welcoming me into their home and treating me like I was their own. I don't really say it enough, and I know that I should say it more, but I do appreciate everything that my family and her family does. I wouldn't be able to do this YouTube thing if it wasn't for the love and support of my girlfriend and my family and her family. At the end of the day, you can't really look at what you've lost. I lost a grandpa, and Kristen lost her grandpa, and it's sad. But it's just really good in the times like this, when you've lost somebody so close to you, to look at the things that you do still have. I still have a mom and a dad, and I have two amazing sisters who are successful and smart, and I have my loving girlfriend who has supported me since day one. Every single cool thumbnail that you guys see on my videos, I don't do any of that. I have no idea how to work Photoshop. That's Kristen. She is a very, very intelligent girl, and I'm so lucky to have her. And Kristen's family, I'm just so thankful that I have somebody like that with a family that's so supportive and loving. Oh, yeah, and my dog almost died. So that was a thing. So we almost had the big three. They always say things happen in threes. Henri got into some things and she ate some poisonous substances, but we were able to get her to the hospital and get it so she was good, and she's healthy now, and she's home, and she's happy, and I'm going to be a lot more cautious and watch her a lot more closely. It wasn't anything that I did wrong, and it's just she got into something. I didn't see her. It's not like I can keep a doggy cam on her at all times, but I'm just really happy that I didn't lose my dog on top of everything. So thank you everybody who's watching these videos and liking them and supporting them and subscribing to my channel. You have no idea how much this means to me. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble for what looks like about, this video has been going about 17 minutes. I'm probably going to edit out some of this stuff, so it'll probably cut it down to maybe like 12 or 13 or something like that. But thank you guys for listening to me ramble and get all mushy and gushy and sentimental. I just now realized that Bloodborne is going on in the background. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. To Kristen, her family, my family, I love each and every one of you. Thank you. And my friends, you guys rock. I give you guys shit all the time, but you guys rock.